Well, let's open up the box. Well, it's not bagged, which suggests it's been opened before, which is probably true. 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues. Decals. Instructions. Probably marking and painting instructions. So far, so good. We'll start here with step 1 of the instructions on the assumption that I will follow the instructions faithfully until I wander off into trouble. Anyway, so we have the 3 parts we're going to put together here in step 1. I have a little trouble figuring out what color to make them, so I'll use my judgment on that. I've drilled out the holes as required in the fuselage, painted the interior and the cockpit floor and seat, and the next step is to cut out and assemble the fuselage parts.
Here are the parts ready to assemble for the fuselage assembly.
Well, we're in the glue drying phase of step 2. And just about ready to move on to step 3, 4, and 5 in building up the fuselage. I've been trying to assemble the inlet duct areas per steps 3, 4, 5, and 6. These pieces here are just 2 pieces glued together and were pretty simple. These inlet ducts are really difficult because they're 3 pieces glued together without anything to form-fit them and hold them in place while they glue. I tried using tape. That didn't work. I ultimately ended up using modeling clay, the kind that supposedly never goes hard, to hold 2 of the pieces together and glue them and then fit that onto the 3rd one. It really wasn't all that successful, and we won't know till well into the assembly of the aircraft whether they're going to fit together with the rest of the airplane. Anyway, on to the next.
Here are the wing parts ready for assembly.
So now we're ready to install the wings. So I'll glue them on there. These inlet ducts are supposed to just tuck right in here and fit up against the fuselage. And as I feared in the past, my assembly of them was sufficiently poor that neither one of them fit very well. One of them I've fit by filing and sanding and so forth, so it's fairly close to right. The other one just barely fits at all, and I'm still trying, but it's going to be a defect in my finished aircraft.
I painted the basic structure of the airplane before installing all the small details such as landing gear and landing gear doors, etc. Here are the instructions for all those small details, or at least most of them. So here's the process of installing the landing gear, the wheels, and some of the doors and ordnance.
The model is substantially built, and I'm in the phase of putting on all the tiny little details. We need some antennas, a tail hook, some missiles on the wingtips, things of that nature. And unfortunately, I'm also in the phase where I knock off as many parts as I put on, trying to do that. And then we'll go on to the decals.
Here's the finished model. I left off the drop tanks and the air-to-ground ordnance because I'm trying to build the Navy fighters in an air-to-air fighter configuration. Here's the F-18 posed with the aircraft it replaced, the F-14. Actually, this is not exactly true. The F-14, the F-15, the F-16, and the F-18 were all developed in the early to mid-1970s to fill a gap between US and Soviet fighters, at least a perceived gap. And they've all soldiered on for a long time, and only the F-14 is out of service. The others still remain. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe.